So now let's look at a very different way of sidechain dynamic processing. In this case, it's called ducking, and it's used in public announcements, used in radio a lot. You'll hear this quite often. And in this example, we're going to be using Logic Pro just so we can, I'm really trying to show you how to do these things in several different tools, so you'll get very familiar with how to use this. And this is another compressor. You've seen this stuff. Here's your threshold, here's your ratio, here's your knee, attack and release, your makeup gain, all this kind of stuff. It's very familiar to you. So in order to explain this method of ducking, which is another type of sidechain dynamic processing, I want to transport us away to beautiful Maui and imagine that we had a vocal announcement, and here's our vocal announcement right here, and it's telling us all the things we can do the next day. Let me see what it says.
Hello and welcome to the Grand Maui Resort. Please stand by for this important announcement.
So that's on that track, and then on this track, this is the backing. And you can see that I have it heavily compressed. 10:1 ratio, I've pulled the threshold down here. So we're getting about 20 dB of noise, of gain reduction on this backing. And you can see that this is set up like a normal compressor. It's placed across this ducking background. This is this music here. It's just like we did in Pro Tools or in Reason. You just insert this compressor across this backing. But, just like we did in the Reason example, instead of this seeing its own input as its detection circuit seeing its own input, we can do a sidechain here. So it can look to the audio of audio track 1 right here. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep this vocal announcement muted, so all we can hear is just the background, and you'll be able to see what goes on. Because if we go back to the top here, if right now there's nothing coming out of this track, so the sidechain here is its detection circuit will not see anything go past the threshold at all, so this will be at full volume. But as soon as we hit this part here, it's going to see a bunch of input in this sidechain, and then it's going to compress it like we saw before, probably about 20 dB, and it will duck this down. So it's just like you have an automatic fader that every time this comes up here, you just pull this down about 20 dB and then bring it back up and then back down and back up. Let's actually hear this example. So there's nothing coming in the sidechain. It's full volume. Check it out now. Boom. As soon as it's receiving the input here, it pulls it down. Now it's back up. Now it's back down. Let's hear that from the beginning again, and we'll actually hear the announcement as well.
Hello and welcome to the Grand Maui Resort. Please stand by for this important announcement. All guests who signed up for the Dolphin Swim Experience need to be ready and by the pool no later than 10:30 a.m. For everyone involved in the fishing launch tomorrow, meet in the lobby at 5:30 a.m. Everybody, go make it a great Tuesday.
So all of these controls work just like they do in a normal compressor. For example, right now I have about a half a second release. So that what that means is that as soon as the announcement stops, it ramps back up. Takes about half a second to ramp back up. Let's imagine let's just go back and play with this with a very short release time. It'll sound very kind of unnatural, where if we do a slower release, it sounds like someone is actually kind of pulling this down and then bringing it back up. Let's play with a release.
Hello and welcome to the Grand Maui Resort. Please stand by for this important announcement. All guests who signed up for the Dolphin Swim Experience need to be ready and by the pool no later than 10:30 a.m.
For a very long
For
one.
everyone involved in the fishing launch tomorrow, meet in the lobby at 5:30 a.m. Everybody, go make it a great Tuesday.
So kind of a corny example, but I just wanted to do this one because you'll hear this. Next time you hear any radio commercials, things like that, you hear this stuff all the time. It's called ducking. It's really, really useful because, you'd like to have this backing music up loud, but you don't want to up loud when any other vocal announcements. So it's great for things like station IDs, jingles, and things like that.